Hello and welcome back once again to After the Credits. So today we're talking about Snatched, starring Amy Schumer and the returning Goldie Hawn, who hasn't been in movies in how many years? At least nothing that I remember. I'm honestly trying to think of when the last time I saw Goldie Hawn as a headline name on a movie, and it's been probably a good 10 years or better. I'll have to actually look it up and see what the last movie she was in prior to this. But yeah, so Goldie Hawn returns playing Amy Schumer's mother. And basically, Amy Schumer is just kind of playing Amy Schumer, that same dumb character that she plays in every movie where she's just a girl who doesn't get anything. And I know it's an act, but it's a repetitive act. It's what she does in every movie, where she wants to be the hot party girl, even though she's kind of a mess. Playing up on how she's sort of cute, but sort of chubby, so guys might not find her attractive. Other guys are okay with her, but again, that hot mess type of thing. And really, it's just kind of a stale note. It worked in the first couple things I saw her in. Now it's just kind of like, do you have anything else? Can you do anything else? So basically, her life is falling apart, and she ends up going home to stay with her mother, kind of against her will. But her mother's like, I'm here for you if you need me, whatever. As she's home visiting her mother, she realizes her mother's not the drag that she thinks she is. She finds like an old photo album of her mom like before the kids were born, and how she used to be kind of adventurous, went like around the world doing photography and things like that. So before her life fell apart, Amy Schumer's character was planning this trip to Ecuador, and she booked the trip non-refundable, which was kind of a mistake on her part because her boyfriend, who she was planning on going there with, ends up dumping her. She can't get any other friends to go with her because she doesn't really have very many friends. Like the one that probably would go with her is like, how are you buying tickets to Ecuador when you still owe me $300? That type of stuff. So she ends up convincing her mother to go, even though her mother doesn't want to, because as her mother's gotten older, she's gotten more cautious. She's got children now, so she doesn't really do the adventuring things anymore. So she finally convinces her mother, go to Ecuador with me so, we can have some fun. You can kind of have an adventure like you used to before we were born. And she finally agrees to go, but she's kind of cautious about it. And Amy Schumer's character, again, is just like the drunk party girl making a mess of herself. And she ends up meeting this guy on the trip, and at first she's like, there's no way this guy's actually interested in me. And as it progresses, you find out that he is interested in her. So now she's thinking that she's found the new love of her life. And then her and her mother meet this other lady at the pool, who was played by Wanda Sykes, who kind of warns them about how like 6 out of 10 tourists every year go missing in Ecuador because they leave the resort, and like once you get outside of the resort, it's actually a dangerous area. So they're kind of like, yeah, okay, thanks for the warning, whatever. And she's like, well, if you ever need me, call me, type of thing. And Amy Schumer finally decides that she's going to go outside the resort with this guy because supposedly he like knows the area and he like does all this stuff or whatever. And like he's like, oh, the outside's not as bad as what people say it is. So he's taking them out for the day to show them a bunch of scenery or whatever. Like, oh, there's this waterfall here. It's really beautiful. We can go this way and see this, or we can just go back to the resort. So Amy Schumer wants to go see everything. Her mom's kind of hesitant, like, why don't we just go back? We have a waterfall in the pool at the resort. We don't really need to go see the other one, blah, blah, blah. So first he takes her to this beach, and she's like, okay, well, I guess this is okay. So yeah, let's go see the waterfall. And then they end up kind of in a bad area, and he's like, okay, well, we just got to get through this little part, and then the waterfall's right there, and then we can take the other way around back so we don't have to come back through this way. So as they're going through the village, they get ambushed, and Goldie Hawn and Amy Schumer's characters are kidnapped, and they're being held prisoner. And they're not sure what happened to the guy, and Goldie Hawn's kind of smart from the beginning, like, obviously he was setting us up, that's why he kept taking us on all these different routes, and kind of pointing out to Amy Schumer's character how she's too trusting and too stupid to really understand things that go on in real life, and how she's always been kind of sheltered from everything. And at first Amy's like, no, that's not true, I'm not really like that. And then as the movie progresses, she kind of starts to realize that maybe she is. So they end up escaping from the prison, and they're trying to run away, and they make their way to Colombia, I believe, or some other part of South America, and they've managed to get to a phone and call the U.S. Embassy, and they're like, well, we can't really come and get you, so if you can make it to the embassy, you'll be safe, we'll take you in, we'll take care of you, whatever, but we can't physically come and get you. So there's this other American there, and he's he's like, well, I can escort you there. And at first they're kind of untrusting of him too until they realize he's American. They're like, oh, well, we can trust an American. So as it goes on, it gets worse and worse. They end up losing their guide who's supposed to be taking them back, and they end up in this other village who agrees to help them out and hide them for a little while. And then the Colombians catch up with them, the guy that was holding them prisoner. And honestly, he probably would have let them go once they escaped, but Amy Schumer's character has been accidentally killing members of his family every time they escape from something. Like first she kills his nephew, and he kind of comes after her for that. And then when they're confronted again, she accidentally kills his son. And it's all by accident. Like she doesn't mean to do it. Like at one point they jump on the back of the truck and the guy like grabs Goldie Hawn's ankle trying to pull her back off the truck. And Amy Schumer just like goes to hit him in the face with a shovel, but instead of swinging it at his face and like knocking him out, she comes down at him and like chops half of his head off because she's ditzy, you know, she doesn't comprehend simple things. And he falls off the back of the truck. She's like, oh my God, do you think he's okay? He was just knocked out, right? And Goldie Hawn's like, no, I'm pretty sure I saw his brain. So yeah, he's dead. And then like another point, they get a hold of a gun and they're like, oh, well, just point the gun at him so we can run away. And when she points the gun, it goes off because there's no safety on it, and it ends up killing the guy's son. So then it's like, okay, I probably could have let you go for killing my nephew, but now you killed my son. And basically, it's just them trying to escape to the embassy. And over the course of their adventure, Amy Schumer's character kind of comes to the realization that there's more to life than just being the party girl. She starts to wake up a little bit and kind of realize that her life was in a downward spiral and she really needs to pull out of it. But at the same time, she never fully like comes out of being as stupid as she comes off as. Like she is actually stupid. So I'm not going to go into how it all happens, but eventually they're rescued, and Amy Schumer's character decides that she's going to turn her life around, and she wants to like give back to people and things like that. So her and her mother begin traveling more together and like seeing exotic places and like voluntarily helping out the local population, like helping them build water supplies and things like that some of the areas might need. But then they also spend time at the resorts partying. And like she meets up with another guy towards the end and she's like, oh yeah, I'm here with my mom. And the guy's like, why? And she's like, because my mom's cool. So she kind of found herself a little bit and stopped being so selfish and like self-centered, but at the same time she never fully comes off of the I'm ditzy Amy Schumer character that she plays. So even though she has a bit of an awakening, she's still not quite there. And the really sad part about this is I believe this is based on a true story about a lady and her mother who were actually kidnapped in South America and had to escape and make their way to the embassy. So I'm sure that those ladies weren't as dumb as Amy Schumer comes off as making them. But again, it's Amy Schumer and she only knows how to play that one character in movies for some reason. So not really a whole lot more I can say about this one. What would I give as far as a star rating? I don't want to rate it too low because I wasn't bored watching it. It kept me entertained enough to keep watching it. I wasn't like, when's this going to end? I was just kind of like, how many more times is Amy Schumer going to make the same dumb I'm an idiot joke in the movie and not get that things are a setup? But that's what the Goldie Hawn character was for, I guess. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. So I can't really even give it a middle of the road. As much as I wanted to say it's a middle of the road film because it is, I just can't. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I don't think it deserves any higher than that. Like I said, it is kind of a middle of the road film, but if Amy Schumer was a better actor, I probably could have gave it a 3, but because of her same continuous shtick, it gets a 2.5. So nothing else to say about it other than that. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are down in the description. Click the bell up there in the corner. Make sure you get notifications every time I post new content. And until next time, I'll see you after the credits.